So what I wanted to demo was just how easy it is to build out those templates, just so that when you are selling these, you don't have to worry about manipulating settings or doing anything in order to get to the promise that you made them about what you're offering them, right? So like Michael said, if you're offering them a 6 month term that goes into an ongoing renewal contract, you want to make sure that when you're selling that and when you're actually doing the sale and filling out all their information, you're able to put that in and get that set up in the system within a few minutes versus having to manipulate a bunch of settings in order to get there. So in order to do that, we just go to setup, we go to inventory, contracts and packages, and all we do is click on add contract. So here we could say like membership as the name. We could say 6 month term. And then I always uh, let people know that they should probably add some form of information about what the auto renewal is or what the class limits are or something about the membership that makes it a little bit more descriptive in case you're going to have multiple templates, just so that it's easier for you to know which one's which. So this one will say AR for auto renewal and we'll say ongoing. So that way we know that this is the one that's going to auto renew into a month-to-month contract after those 6 months. We're going to select categories. And we're going to say that this contract is available to all students. And then we're just going to build out a couple of the small things here, which is adding an item, which is just adding the item that the person receives as part of the contract. This is tied to check-in and making sure that when people check in, they have the right items. So we always make sure that we add these in. I'll put in the price. One second. Say 150 for this membership. And you'll see that it's now added and it lets you know what they're going to receive as part of this membership. And then right here is where we can kind of start looking at those templated options that Michael was talking about, how we can have a type of contract, which is either term, ongoing, paid in full. You can even do things like complimentary, but that's not the point of today. But let's talk about term, obviously, because we're going to do the 6 month term. We're going to say that it auto renews, it's going to have 6 payments, and then we're going to say that it gets paid once every month. So that's how easy it is to set up the base term or the base contract. Down at the bottom here, we're going to start building out what happens when the contract ends, as well as talking about things like initiation fees, if you wanted to add that into the contract, or a down payment if they're going to pay something up front towards their monthly payments. You could even offer things like free payments. Maybe that's a way you can get past that objection of being in a 6 month term of saying, hey, you get one free payment, it'll be 5 payments, but you're locked in for 6 months, right? Things like that maybe can always help push people from a no to a yes. And then down here is down where we start looking at the auto renewals and the cancellations. If you look here, cancellation notice, kind of like what Michael was saying, one of the most important things is making sure that for cancellation notice that it's clear and they know what they're getting. They know what their options are to cancel. Because I'm sure for a lot of those people who are on the fence, the idea of being locked in and not knowing how to get out if they need to can be daunting. And then renew at end of contract is where we decide what happens at the end of our 6 month term. We can say additional term, and then we're given the options of setting what that additional term payments look like, the terms for cancellation for that additional term, and then as well as how many times that's going to renew or how many additional payments are going to be added into the contract. What we're going to do, though, in this case, we're going to go to converts to ongoing, and you're going to see that. And then we just need to set the payment amount. So we'll say that it's going to stay to 150, and the cancellation notice for this is also 30 days. So they'll know going in, they can cancel 30 days notice on their 6 month term or 30 days notice on their month to month after that term ends. And we're going to leave the conditions default because that's just the contract terms. Okay, and then save and exit. And now if we search, we're going to see that our new contract is here, membership. It's all set up. And for your staff, when they're selling these, they will then be able to see this. So we're going to go to a new contract, and we would say that this is being purchased by Isaac. We're going to select maybe one of the ones that I've already set up. And then I'm going to show you the two different ones that are on the list right now. There's 12-month term AR term and membership 6 month term. If you do 6 month term and click on create contract, this is where I was saying the templates get you away from editing a whole bunch of things. So we could have made all of those changes and make all of those things happen from this screen for any contract. But again, that I think makes it a little too complicated, opens up the possibility of making a mistake, or maybe even opens up the possibility of not delivering on the promise you gave the person who was already wary about signing a contract. So we have everything set up already. You can see that it has 6 payments, it renews every month, and then it also tells you how much they pay and all that stuff. And if we click on edit and view details, we'll also be able to see here what the renewal is at the end. So we can see that this one does renew at the end of the contract to ongoing. So we're all good. We see the payment schedules all set up, and then we click on save and continue. And then they'll get their contract terms, including things like their cancellation terms and stuff like that here as well. So that's how easy it is for that to happen. And then again, like I said, the other templates make it super simple to just make sure you're giving them exactly what they were looking for. So if I switched over to the 12-month term, you'll see that this one has the appropriate amount of payments, whatever the payment terms are. And then if you see here, the renew at end of contract does the additional term and then does the 12-month or additional 1-year term. So super simple to set up, super simple to use and sell to people after they're set up, and gives you the flexibility of making sure that you have an option for people no matter what their objections are or their like desired contract is. And then on the flip side, if you're not doing it from there, you can also do it from the member portal. So this also gives them the ability to do this on their own. Once you have those templates in there, once you have those contract offerings available, if we go to enroll from the member portal, which is available to all members now, we click on enroll, we click on the contract that we've set up or the one that I set up earlier. If we click on join now, you can see here that all of the information that they get is already here, or all the information they need to understand what the contract is already here. And then it's just as simple as clicking on review contract. They can read through what all of the terms are, they can sign, they can do all the signature, and then complete their checkout and set up for a brand new contract within minutes of creating their profile. So just a couple of quick demos about how easy it is to set up and then sell those contracts to people. But if you have questions, obviously let me know, or if I went too fast on something, let me know. But yeah, that's it.
Amazing. Thank you so much for showing us that, Isaac.